Your name, please?
My name's Boris Johnson.
No, it is in fact Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson. Isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
And your occupation, Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson?
I'm a Member of Parliament.
Well, we'll gloss over that one.
Pudding. Most politicians, as far as I can work out, are pretty incompetent and then have a veneer of competence.
Yes.
You do seem to do it the other way round.
Yes. Oh, you can't rule out the possibility that, beneath the elaborately constructed veneer of a, blithering idiot, there lurks a blithering idiot.
Well, which is it?
Titties.
Well, I certainly think that as a general tactic in life, if that's what you're driving at, it is often useful to give the slight impression that you are deliberately pretending not to know what is going on, because the reality may be that you don't know what is going on, but people won't be able to tell the difference.
Whenever anyone asked him what he wanted to be, he would answer world king. That is true. And that's what he thought. He thought that was a job that he could do, and he would fulfill every criterion.
You haven't seen this documentary,
I have not, no.
Why did you agree to it?
It's very simple. It's like when the News of the World ring up and they say, or whatever, and they say, listen, you're going to be in this story. You can either cooperate or not cooperate.
Michael Cockerell blackmailed you, is that what you're saying?
Effectively, yeah. It was great fun at the time. You kind of felt very, posh, and you felt it was wonderful to be going around swanking this up, but I remember the dinners being incredibly, drunken and
Ending up with smashing up restaurants.
well, yes, and so the abiding feeling was of deep self-loathing and, what.
I've talked to a number of the people in the photograph.
God, have you? All right.
And they say that when they see you these days, you go up to them and say, bulla, bulla, bulla.
Right. Do they?
Yes, they do. Johnson had become a trainee reporter for The Times, but after he concocted a quote for an article he wrote about the Plantagenet King Edward II and his gay lover, The Times let him go.
It was awful, and it was a bit of a bummer, frankly.
The Times let you go after you'd made up a quote. Why did you make up a quote?
Well, this again, these are big terms for what happened. Well, I can tell you the whole thing. I mean, I think permission to obfuscate. Are you sure our viewers wouldn't want to hear more?
Let me ask you about a barefaced lie. When you were in Michael Howard's team, you denied to him you were having an affair. It turned out you were, and he sacked you for that. Why did you lie to your party?
Well, permission to obfuscate. Great. So on that, I never had any conversation with Michael Howard about that matter, and I don't.
You did lie.
Well, I don't propose to go into all that again.
I don't blame you.
Boris was caught on tape as well. Boris was on tape talking to Darius Guppy.
The programme includes your reaction as you listen to a phone call in which your friend Darius Guppy asks you to supply the address of a journalist so that he can have him physically assaulted. The words beaten up and broken ribs are said to you. And you, having heard that, you tell your friend Darius Guppy you will supply the address.
But I am telling you something, Boris.
What were you recorded saying?
Honestly, I don't remember.
I do.
This guy has got my blood up, all right?
And a great chap, despite being a convicted fraudster.
Convicted fraud, went very, very sadly wrong.
Yep.
Major goof.
And one of the ways he went wrong is ringing you up on tape and suggesting that you help him beat up a journalist who was looking into him.
That did come up.
There is nothing which I won't do to get my revenge. It's as simple as that. How badly are you going to hurt this guy?
Ha ha ha. Richly comic, yes, that's.
Not badly at all. He will not have a broken limb or broken arm, and he will not be put into intensive care or anything like that.
A very great man. I don't want to be totally stitched up here.
He will probably get a couple of black eyes and a cracked rib or something like that. Nothing which you didn't suffer in rugby, okay? But you'll get scared, and that's what I want him to do.
Okay, Darius, I said I'll do it. Don't worry.
I'm way out of my depth here. I've been totally stitched up. I want it on the record. I walked straight into a massive elephant trap. I should have spotted it.
Boris, I really mean it. I love you.
Yes.
I said I'd do it, Darius. I'll do it.
Yeah.
What do you feel hearing it again now, because you were laughing?
Well, obviously I feel indignation that people take my private phone calls. That's what I feel. And I feel what a load of old cobblers. That's what I feel.
What does that say about you, Boris Johnson?
Well,
aren't you, in fact, making up quotes, lying to your party leader, wanting to be part of someone being physically assaulted? You're a nasty piece of work, aren't you?
People say all sorts of fantastical things whilst they're talking to their friends.
But even Conrad Black, your friend, convicted fraudster, even he says he doesn't trust you completely.
Twice married Johnson was sacked from the front bench for lying to the party leader about an adulterous affair with one of his staff. It was one of a string of love affairs that have raised what's called the character question about his fitness for the job of Prime Minister.
There's all sorts of expressions to describe what is the impossibilia, the adjunita. It is not going to happen. It is more likely that, as I say, I will be reincarnated as an olive, or knocked in a disused fridge, or decapitated by a flying frisbee.
Can we sort out this drugs question, which seems to have bedeviled this campaign so far? You told GQ some years ago now, when asked whether you'd taken cocaine, yes, I tried it at university, and I remember it vividly, and asked whether the drug had actually gone up your nose. You said, yes, it must have done, but it didn't do much for me. Were you telling the truth then, and do you regret the fact that you took a Class A drug?
Well, I think the canonical account of this...
Have you snorted cocaine?
I tried to, but
You've tried to snort cocaine?
Unsuccessfully a long time ago.
What was unsuccessful about it?
I sneezed.
Right.
It was only a very small quantity. It was a long, long time ago. I think it's probably a totally disgusting and ridiculous thing to do. And what else can I say about it? Now, what are you asking here? It's perfectly true that I have had some drugs.
Have you?
You haven't got any on you, have you? No.
How many children do you have?
Look, I love my children very much, but they are not standing at this election.
There is a story about that, isn't there?
Yes, I'm just trying to remember what it is.
How would you vote tomorrow if there was a referendum?
I'd vote to stay in the single market. I'm in favour of the single market. I want to be I want us to be able to trade freely with our European friends and partners. Well, everybody, thanks a lot. Take care. Brilliant.
Many people thought that Johnson chose to back Leave to endear himself to pro-Brexit Tory members in a future leadership contest.
You need to look at the numbers, although I fear the only number that Boris is interested in is the one that says number 10. But the fact is, he's the life and soul of the party, but he's not the man you want driving you home at the end of the evening.
Here in Lisbon, in Portugal, to celebrate what is the oldest alliance and friendship in diplomatic history, going back to 1386, going forward through the Napoleonic Wars, through to the Second World War, when, of course, this was a place that was... I'm trying to think what happened in the Second World War. What did we do in the Second World War? It was neutral, wasn't it? The Azores. What did we do in the Azores? Is our fourth biggest trading partner.
Trading partner, we are Portugal.
James Bond himself was said to have been born in Estoril. And today...
James Bond. See, he wasn't born.
Well, you can't put one thing in my brain.
No, I know. The idea for James Bond was born. The idea for James Bond was born.
Corduroy-jacketed, snaggle-toothed, lefty academics.
Pouty lips and a steely blue stare, like a sadistic mental health nurse. And you went on to say she represents everything I came into politics to oppose.
Well, as I'm sure you'll accept, the senators are very distinguished politicians. I'm sure she will take those words in the light-hearted spirit in which they were intended. And Kipper! Normally they shout, you Tory tosser. Raindrops keep falling on my head. I like to paint. I make things. I like to...
What do you make?
I have a thing where I make models of... I make buses.
You make models of buses?
I make models of buses.
So they're going to be in Downing Street?
So what I do... No, what I don't make models of buses, but what I make is... I get old, wooden crates.
Yeah.
Right? And then I paint them. And they have two suppose it's a box that's been used to contain two wine bottles, right?
Right.
And it will have a dividing thing.
Yeah.
And I turn it into a bus, and I put passengers. You really want to know this?
You're making buses. You're making cardboard buses. That's what you do to enjoy yourself.
I paint the passengers enjoying themselves.
Okay, great.
On the wonderful bus.
Great.
Just one other thing, if I may. Mayor Johnson. I think he knew what the next question I wanted to ask him, which is why he's left.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Yeah, sure.
You go on, have a cup of tea.
Thank you. Do you regret?
Would you like a cup of tea?
Do you regret your comments? Do you regret your comments?
Don't go on, have a cup of tea.
Thank you very much.
There you go. There you go.
Do you regret your comments, sir?
I want you to have a cup of tea.
If I have a cup of tea, will you answer my question?
No, I'm here solely on a humanitarian mission because you've been here all day and you've been incredibly patient and I feel very sorry for you because I have nothing to say about this matter except to offer you some tea.
Okay.
Okay. Go on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
See, here he is. Here's Boris now. One sec. Here we go. Morning, Prime Minister. Will you come on Good Morning Britain, Prime Minister? I've just had...
Not getting near Boris. Look at
Prime
that.
Minister, will you come on Good Morning Britain and deliver on your promise to talk to Piers and Susanna? We're ready to go. We're live on ITV right now. Prime Minister, we have an earpiece in my pocket. You're more than welcome to come on. The Prime Minister's welcome to come on air once he's delivered his bottles of milk. We will. We're happy to.
There we go.
Prime Minister, will you deliver on your promise to come on Good Morning Britain?
Of course I will.
Thank you very much. Would you do that this morning for us?
Is that all right now? Is that going to fall off?
Right. No, I'll move it.
There you
Let's have a cheering
Prime Minister, will you do that now for us? Piers, there is a look of panic on people's faces. Let's hear what the Prime Minister has to say now. I'm going to keep quiet for a moment. Let's see what he has to say.
Thank you.
Come on.
There's a bit of panic going on here this morning.
And we've got milkshakes for you on the table.
Mr Johnson, while you have 5 minutes, you're live on Good Morning Britain. Could you talk to Piers and Susanna for me?
I'll be with you in a second.
Yeah, I have an earpiece here in my hands, ready to go. Right, he's been taken inside, into the freezer.
He's gone into the fridge.
Supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies.
You lied to the people of London in your election.
Get stuffed.
Yes, it's alleged that I said bollocks to her.
You wouldn't do that, would you?
Well,
not to a lady.
She dobbed me in. Well, what can I say? That's her kind. I don't deny it. She was wrong.
By the time the next election comes, by the time rather not the next election, we never know whether that will come, but by the time the election for London Mayor
Are you going to shake their hands? And if not, how are you going to avert an international incident?
No, well, Victoria, I can tell you that I'm shaking hands continuously. I was at a hospital the other night where I think there were actually a few coronavirus patients, and I shook hands with everybody. You'll be pleased to know, and I continue to shake hands, and I think it's very important that we,
Does
get
it
rid of
help
automatic
that a prime minister of this great nation would use the terms bank robber and letterbox to describe Muslim women who wear a burqa?
Well, people, Philip, dig out all sorts of
You said it.
Did you lie to the Queen when you advised her to prorogue to suspend Parliament?
Absolutely not.
Boris Johnson is a lying